All right, so we've gotten our hands on something pretty incredible. It's a recently discovered archive file, dated April 11th, 1994. But here's the thing. The military plan inside describes a battle that feels like it's from a completely different and, frankly, terrifying future. So let's break this down.
And this really is the core question facing the commanders in this file, a guy named Benedictus and a Captain Monroe. They're not just up against another army, they're fighting an enemy that seems to defy logic, technology, and everything they thought was possible. So seriously, how do you even begin to strategize against the impossible?
Okay, so first things first, they have to deal with the most immediate threat, these swarms of autonomous lethal machines they've nicknamed killbots. The plan isn't to destroy them, which is telling. It's something much more desperate and, well, intricate. They're calling it Operation Killbot Diversion.
On paper, the objective sounds simple enough. Get the killbots to chase a ghost, lead them away from the main camp so the real offensive can kick off. But the way they plan to do it, it's anything but simple. This is an absolutely high-risk gamble against a very, very advanced enemy.
Now, this is what I find so fascinating. The sheer complexity of this lure is just wild. This isn't just setting up a simple decoy, no. This is a sophisticated piece of electronic warfare. They're literally manipulating the local power grid to create a massive, juicy energy signature. Then they're using multiple radio units to broadcast a fake story with real coordinates, all while telling their own compromised units to listen to the wrong frequency. It's a brilliant, multi-layered deception.
And who do they assign to pull off this incredibly complex operation? Just 13 men. 13! The original plan actually called for only 9, but the lead engineer basically put his foot down and said they needed at least 4 more just to physically handle all the equipment. Every single person on this mission is critical. There is zero margin for error.
And this just shows you the tightrope they're walking. The entire diversion hinges on perfect, precise timing. But even the commanders admit there's a 2-minute window where it could all go wrong. Intel scans show no immediate threats, but Benedictus isn't taking any chances. His order is to expect anything. They are operating completely in the dark here.
But, a plan like this requires more than just technical skill. It requires absolute, unshakable resolve from the soldiers. And as we're about to see, that resolve is about to be put to the ultimate test.
So before they can even launch their big offensive, Captain Monroe has to deliver the worst kind of news. They've lost 15 of their own people. Just think about that. At the exact moment they need to be at their strongest, he has to tell his soldiers just how much they've already lost.
And this is Benedictus's chillingly pragmatic take on it. He doesn't see this terrible news as a risk to morale. He sees it as a weapon. He actually wants them angry, believing that vengeance will be the fuel they need for the fight ahead. It's such a cold calculation. But in their situation, he might just be right.
And the soldiers' reaction? It astounds even a hardened veteran like Benedictus. There's no breakdown, no chaos, just this grim acceptance. You hear about low growls, guys holding up their fists in solidarity. They lower their flag to half-mast, and then, almost immediately, they all turn and get back to their duties. Their grief just gets channeled into this silent, focused resolve. It's incredible.
So, with the diversion team on its way, and the troops' morale now hardened into something new, the commanders turn their attention to the main prize, the Northern Offensive. This is the direct assault on the enemy's primary stronghold. Now, the initial scans show a pretty standard layout. You've got 3 small outpost buildings, each with 2 human biosignatures inside, all forming a neat perimeter about 200 meters from the main wall. At first glance, this looks totally conventional, almost textbook, a manageable defense. But they're about to look a lot closer. And this right here is where the entire mission pivots. As they start analyzing the main compound, the problem shifts from one of military tactics to one that seems to defy the very laws of physics and material science. Benedictus is the first one to realize something is profoundly wrong with the map. He asks Monroe this really cryptic question, trying to get him to see it too. He's not pointing out what's there, he's pointing out what's critically, impossibly missing. And here's what the scans show. The power lines are buried 10 feet deep and run for 27 miles. Okay, impressive. The walls? They're made of something that shouldn't be possible on this scale. The scanner, this thing called Damont, has no data on where the material came from. And the main gate? Well, it has no internal mechanisms. No locks, no hinges, no gears. Nothing. It's just a solid wall that somehow opens. Let's just focus on those walls for a second.
Tungsten, an incredibly dense, incredibly strong, and rare metal. Benedictus, a seasoned military commander, is just completely floored. He says he can't even begin to wrap his head around the resources it would take to build a massive fortress out of solid tungsten. His final assessment? It's simply impossible.
So, the mission has taken a very sharp, very weird turn. Every new piece of information doesn't solve a problem, it creates a dozen more, and each one is more frightening than the last. They are staring into a complete technological abyss.
Which brings us to the first terrifying question. Forget military tactics for a moment. What kind of industrial power could even build something like this? The sheer scale of it suggests a technological leap that is just far, far beyond anything they've ever seen. And then you have the gate, a solid slab of tungsten that just lifts up with no visible mechanics at all. What kind of force or technology makes that possible? I mean, that's not just advanced engineering anymore. That borders on magic.
And this, of course, is the ultimate question that hangs over everything. This isn't just another army they're fighting. The killbots, the tungsten fortress, the impossible technology. It all points to an enemy that is fundamentally alien to their entire understanding of the world. Who or what are they really up against?
Benedictus ends his briefing with this little piece of dark humor. Faced with impossible odds and an enemy that seems to operate on a different plane of existence, all he can do is joke that things are surely about to get even worse. It's a chilling thought to end on, and it just leaves you wondering, what other impossibilities are waiting for them out there?